Okay, imagine this. You're in a room, and someone slides a file across the table to you. It's stamped Declassified. The title? Unidentified Aeronautical Phenomena. For years, this was the kind of stuff you only saw in movies. Well, now it's real, so let's crack this thing open.
You know, for as long as most of us have been alive, UFOs were, well, they were a joke, right? Fringe stuff. Something to be whispered about or laughed at. It was definitely not something taken seriously by people in charge.
Well, that's all changing. The Pentagon has officially released a report, and suddenly all that speculation is being replaced with actual, documented evidence. So, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dig into what this thing actually says, and maybe even more interesting, what it admits it just doesn't know.
All right, first things first. Let's get into the concrete stuff. What did they actually find that's got everyone talking?
The first thing that just jumps out at you is the sheer scale of this. We're not talking about one or two weird lights in the sky. The report is looking at hundreds of new UAP incidents. And that volume, that sheer number, is what takes us from being a collection of weird stories to a genuine pattern that demands a serious look.
And it's how they saw these things that really matters. This isn't just some shaky cell phone video. We are talking about official logs from highly trained military pilots. They're using incredibly sophisticated gear. We're talking radar, infrared, and often they had multiple sensors all confirming the same strange event at the same time. These are the most credible witnesses you could ask for, using the best technology we have.
And here's another huge piece of the puzzle. This isn't just an American thing. Not at all. The report itself admits that other countries have been logging very similar phenomena for decades. So whatever is going on, it seems to be happening all over the world.
Okay, but here's the kicker, and you got to hear this part loud and clear. For all the incredible data, the report does not jump to the conclusion that it's aliens. In fact, it says the exact opposite. There is no clear evidence of extraterrestrial origin. The main takeaway isn't we found aliens. It's we found a lot of stuff that we just plain can't explain yet.
And that really gets us to the heart of this entire document. For every fascinating detail it reveals, there's a massive wall of stuff we don't know. So let's talk about those limits.
So you've got this classic tug of war, right? On one side, you have these impeccable witnesses, Top Gun pilots, radar operators. But on the other side, the actual data they get is often messy. It can be incomplete or just plain unclear. It's like having the world's best witness describing a scene through a foggy window. And if you break it down, there are really four big roadblocks. 1. The data is all over the place. 2. Nobody can even agree on how to classify these things. 3. Even the best pilots can make mistakes, and equipment can glitch. And 4. Some of the most interesting info is probably blacked out in the public report for national security reasons. And on top of all that, there's an even bigger problem. You see, science works because everyone agrees on the rules. How to collect data, how to analyze it, how to check each other's work. With UAPs, that rulebook just doesn't exist yet. And without it, getting to a real, solid scientific conclusion is almost impossible. So with all these issues, all these limitations, you're probably wondering, why is this report such a massive deal? And that question gets us to the real story here.
Look, the real importance of this report isn't what it concludes, it's what it represents. It's a total vibe shift. This document drags the topic out of the shadows and puts it right under the bright lights of official, serious study. It's the government, on paper, saying, okay, this stuff is real, it's unexplained, and we need to treat it seriously.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. For so many years, the government's silence created this vacuum. And what fills a vacuum? Conspiracy theories and suspicion. By opening the files, even a little, they're taking a huge step towards clearing the air. So when you boil it all down, here's why this matters. The government is now on record admitting some things are flying around that they can't explain. It gives a huge dose of legitimacy to every pilot and citizen who's ever reported something strange. And maybe best of all, it proves that when the public pushes hard enough for answers, sometimes they get them. Which, of course, brings us full circle. The report may have answered some questions, but it left us with a whole new set of even bigger ones. So what's the gold standard here? What's the bar? What kind of evidence would it actually take to convince the scientific community beyond a shadow of a doubt that something isn't ours?
And what if the answer isn't out there at all? What if it's right here on Earth? Could some of these things be super advanced drones or spy planes from another country? Technology so advanced we don't even recognize it?
And if this is happening everywhere, well, one country trying to figure it out alone is not going to cut it. How do we get everyone, all the world's governments, to work together and share what they know? And that's the final nagging question, isn't it? As more of these files get declassified, are we about to learn something that will change everything? Or are we just going to find out that the deeper we go, the less we truly know?